Benefactors keep the lights on at Frosty Tools. To prevent messages like this one, get great perks, and help support the tools, become a benefac.
What's up, everyone? How y'all doing tonight? Right now I'm just gonna chill, watch some videos, I guess. Something else pops up, I might play some video games in a little bit, but not sure yet. Let me make sure this is working. Yes.
Have you ever come across a place in DayZ that made you stop and wonder why it even exists? Not because it had great loot or some huge story attached to it, but just because something about it felt off. Maybe it was lonely, strange, maybe too specific to be meaningless. That is what this video is about. Not the biggest or most important locations in DayZ, but the ones that feel oddly notable for reasons that are harder to explain. First, let's start with Kumurna. Kumurna is a ruined village on a mountain plateau directly south of Guglovo in Chernarus. It can be reached by winding paths from Megalovka or Novi Sobor, but the easiest approach is from Guglovo. What makes Smyrna stand out is that every building there is already in ruins. There are only 9 structures in total, including a church, and the entire settlement looks like it was completely destroyed long before the events of Day Z. What makes Smyrna especially interesting is that it was not ruined by the infection. Canon material places destruction in the early stages of the 2009 Cherno-Russian Civil War, before the events of Arma II's Red Harvest campaign. The village was the site of fighting between the Chedeki insurgents and the Napa rebels. While some details have been lost over time, the surviving information suggests that Smyrna was caught in a violent conflict that likely involved occupation, abuse of civilians, and eventually combat heavy enough to leave the village permanently abandoned. The church and graveyard behind it add to that feeling. Smyrna is not just another empty DayZ town. It is a place that was already dead before the apocalypse ever began. That is what makes it odd. It is a ruined village inside a ruined world, which gives it very different atmosphere from most locations in Cherno-Rus. Now let's head over to Livonia and check out Wolisko. Wolisko is a small, remote island in northeastern Livonia, located on the Bila River, east of Graben and north of Sitnik. At first glance, it seems extremely minor. The island has a rundown cabin, a dock, a boat, and somehow even infected spawn here. There is no major loot here and no large gameplay reason to visit. That is exactly what makes Wolisko memorable. It is isolated, small, and visually distinct, which makes it stand out more than a lot of the larger locations. In a game full of villages, forests, and military zones, a tiny island with a single cabin feels unusual almost immediately. It looks like it should have a story attached to it, even though DayZ never really gives you one. Over time, Wolisko has become known more for its atmosphere than its usefulness. Players have used it as a unique base spot and showcased it across YouTube and other platforms because it feels different than the rest of Livonia. It is odd not because of lore or loot, but because it is such a strangely specific little place in the middle of nowhere.
Isn't that Livonia,
Staying
maybe?
in Livonia, let's check out
Livonia.
the Sala Arms Factory.
I don't
The
know
Sala
Livonia
Arms
that well.
Factory is a rundown industrial complex in a remote valley south of Nadbor in southern Livonia. It is made up of several warehouses and factory buildings, and despite how large and distinctive it is, the location is not even named on most DayZ maps. That alone makes it easy to overlook. According to broader Arma lore, Sala was once known for producing high-quality sporting and hunting rifles. Much of its workforce came from Nadbor City, and both the factory and the city were partially excluded from Livonia's expanding military training area in the 1990s. The factory eventually shut down in 1995 because of structural problems with its foundation. If you follow the Arma timeline further, this site later becomes a training ground and a major installation associated with the Contact era. That gives Sala more historical weight than it first appears to have in DayZ. In DayZ itself, though, it mostly comes across as a forgotten industrial ruin sitting in isolation. What makes it odd is the contrast between how important it seems and how little attention is drawn to it. It has a real backstory, a large footprint, and a unique visual identity, but it feels like one of Livonia's most overlooked locations. Now from Livonia, let's head over to Namosk. And specifically, let's look at Bubson's Iceberg. Bubson's Iceberg is located west of the southwestern tip of Namosk,
Been there.
out in the frozen emptiness beyond the main island. It is a small patch of ice with a frozen dead body and a vinyl edition of the original Namosk soundtrack. Compared to major Namosk locations like Vorkuta, Athena, or Lantia, it is not presented as a major canon story hub. What makes it stand out is the name and the item found there. Bubson matches Daniel Staff, also known as Bubson, the composer credited with Namosk soundtrack and official materials. That strongly suggests the iceberg is meant to be a tribute location rather than a major plot point. The vinyl item reinforces that by describing Bubson as a local musician who disappeared after speaking out about the events at the Research Institute. That gives the location a strange mix of lore, tribute, and atmosphere. It does not explain much, but it feels meaningful anyway. Bubson's iceberg is odd because it carries emotional and symbolic weight far beyond what is actually there. It is a tiny, frozen landmark at the edge of the map, but it leaves a much stronger impression than you would expect. Lastly, let's head back to Cherna and check out Storaz. Storaz, which comes from the Russian word for watchman, is one of the most unusual locations in Cherna. It is a remote prison complex built across 2 islands south of Ostrog, and although it is technically classified as a castle, most players remember it for what it became rather than what it once was. Unlike the other castles in Cherna, Storaz was clearly being used as a prison by the Cherna government right up until the outbreak. That alone makes it stand out because instead of feeling medieval or purely historic, it feels modern, practical, and unsettlingly recent. The complex includes around 40 prison cells, along with offices, storage areas, and support buildings. On the western island, barracks were later added, likely to house prison staff along with a large dock for moving supplies in and out. That layout makes Storaz feel more like a functioning island detention site than just an old fortress reused for convenience. It also explains why players are often drawn there despite the risk, since the barracks on the western island can offer military loot. What makes Storaz especially odd is both its isolation and the effort required to reach it. Moving between the islands means swimming in open water, which leaves survivors exposed and vulnerable the entire time. That danger gives the place a very different feel from most inland military or prison locations. It is not just remote, it is cut off in a way that makes every trip feel deliberate. Its earlier history is mostly unknown, but its position suggests it once had strategic value over the coastal city of Chernogorsk. Over time, that old defensive position appears to have been repurposed into something far more modern and oppressive. Even the older names tied to it, like Terra Incognita in the .53 changelog and Old Warden on a tourist map found in the game files, add to that strange identity. Storaz feels like a place suspended between eras, part castle, part prison, part military outpost. That is what makes it memorable and odd. It is not just another island location, it feels like a place built to keep people in, with the sea doing the rest of the work. And that brings us to our end. These locations are odd for the same reason a lot of DayZ's best places are memorable. Not because they are the biggest or most useful, but because they feel distinct. Each location all stand out in different ways, whether through history, isolation, atmosphere, or just how unusual they are. They may not be the most important places in DayZ,
I think we're good now, y'all. I think we good. We about to get us one. Oh yeah, we good. We good. We got the store now. You see where I'm at. Let's get us one.
You know the rules.
Got us a couple in here. Come on now. We got us one. We'll be back in the morning to turn this in. We gotta get up out of here.
So maybe one or two more and we'll be done.
Mr. President, are you allowed to, or are you willing to end this conflict with Iran charging tolls for passage through the strait?
Us charging tolls?
Iran.
What about us charging tolls?
Is that something you're considering?
I'd rather do that than let them have them, right? Why shouldn't we? We're the winner. We won, okay? They are militarily defeated.
We won.
The only thing they have is the psychology of, oh, we're going to drop a couple of mines in the water, all right? No, we have a concept where we'll charge tolls, okay? I thought you meant us. Your question would have been more accurate if you said us. Go ahead.
So Bohemia have just released 1.7 on experimental, with a lot of bug fixes, a lot of null checks, and a lot of potential optimization tweaks. One of the things they've actually added is FIA, Freedom and Independence Army. That is now playable. So they're
Probably need
typically
to try
the
that official
underdogs.
maps.
I think they spawn
server.
with pretty much nothing, and their sole objective in the game is to disrupt the flow of battle, or even make some truces with the US or the Soviet army. We're going to jump into it. When you try and join the FIA team, it typically says this team isn't for the unprepared, meaning you should be outnumbered, you're going to be outgunned and outgeared, and they're going to have more spawns and stuff. However, there seems to be a bit of a balance issue here. So we're going to jump into, it looks like we can only spawn on Calvary Hill. So when you join the FIA, you spawn with nothing. Oh, you spawn with a truck in your face. You spawn with... Okay, we'll do this in a second. Aha! You literally spawn in with a radio to communicate with your team, a spare magazine for your pistol, a torch, because I'm presuming it's going to get real dark, a shopping list, a tourniquet, a bandage, a compass, and a map. Now the shopping list, as you can see, it has a grid reference. Well, it has a list of grid references on it. These grid references are for you to find arsenals. So sometimes you can spawn absolutely anywhere in the world. As you can see at the bottom, we have two spawns. We have a randomized spawn. We have Cavalry Hill. Now this keeps telling me my randomized spawn is going to be somewhere near Levy. Let's put that to the test. So a random spawn with no gear. Let's see where it goes. I am typically a modded player, and you have a lot of mods and things to help you to see where you are on the map or see where your team is. I absolutely love the aspect of vanilla and potentially getting lost. You have to learn the topography of the map, landmarks, and just kind of get used to or familiar with your surroundings. Now, luckily, I've played Everon quite a lot. I know this is Quarry, and we are actually here. Luckily, it shows us a deployment position as well. If we go back to the shopping lists, we have 5 arsenals, or 5 things to find around the map. Now let's try and figure out where our closest one is. We are 087 and 041. Now the first numbers are the horizontal, and then the second numbers are the vertical. So we are 087, 041, 8921. So that's probably going to be down there somewhere. 8921 is... oh, here. They've already brought supplies there. Right, we're going to try and get ourselves to there without getting killed, I guess. One of the new updates as well with 1.7 is the movement and the inertia. Now, the inertia, well, you can feel it. If you play modded servers, some of the modded servers already have inertia within them, but even I can feel it now, and you definitely feel like you have a bit of a weight to your character now, which is definitely a nice change. If you are a vanilla player, then I'm pretty sure you're going to notice this. This is quite a big change. So one of the changes is movement, and secondly, in the movement section, is you can't sprint through bushes anymore. Bushes slow down your movement, which is a really nice change, to be fair. Yeah, stop. Brings you down to like a fast walk. I'm currently holding sprint as well, so as soon as I get out, I start sprinting. and it slows you down. Yeah, even through like a little short
That's gonna be a
bit. It's
pain.
pretty cool.
Some of them areas
Right,
are
we
nothing
got
but
ourselves a
bushes.
vehicle, so let's head on down to the arsenal that we found. We'll take this one. It's going to be quicker. But the lights are on. That kind of scared me. I'm not going to lie. Ooh, the lights. Oh. The lights are always on, by the looks of it. I've just tried turning them off, and I believe... Yep, they're still on. A lot of my community will probably count down on when I crash, so hopefully I can behave right now and actually not crash. I almost lost it on the first corner. Got another scattered vehicle here. A lot of these FIA vehicles have been scattered everywhere. I even saw this on the start of a game when we played today, whilst I was live. They're armed. Oh my lord. It's got an FIA cargo van here. Probably the best vehicle in the game. Saka. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. I mean, it was all planned and
Bunch
coordinated.
of mines. Look at that.
Just so we didn't hit the mines, obviously. Okay, so we go down here. And it should just be on the harbours. This should be nice and easy to find. Should just be by those cranes, I guess. Oh, it's friendly. I'm not used to looking at the FIA and thinking they're friendly. Okay, here's the... There is a lot of them. Holy. Yeah, there is a lot. Oh. Is that not working? Okay, that's not working. Maybe we... Oh, it is working. It says I have no supplies. Okay.
Is it bugged?
Let's just hope there's supplies already at that house. I'm not finding it. This is a very well hidden arsenal. I don't know if arsenals can be destroyed either. Maybe I'm at the wrong house. I'm here. I'm at the wrong house. On a side note, we tried to get the supplies into the arsenal and it didn't work.
So it's bugged right now, I guess.
This might actually be an FIA hideout. I've done some of the combat ops and there's been like guns and everything scattered in the roof.
My internet's been shit tonight.
We'll go and have a look. I'm not seeing any arsenal around here. Ooh, it might be inside. It is. Okay, we found the arsenal. So we have 27 supplies. So that could probably get us... Oh, we can re-kit. Okay, so we can put our clothes on. And we can... Oh! Someone just used... That just went down to 8.
Someone used it.
But I didn't pick anything. Okay, maybe we can't get a gun. This might be rough. Okay, so we're gonna drop all of that on the floor. We're gonna grab some red trousers. We're gonna get rid of the hat and put the cap on. We have 8 supplies. That's down to 6 now, I believe. But is 6? We might just have to get pistol mags.
Pistol mags don't
We'll
cost
get another
any
bandage
supplies.
as well. Another 2, just in case. We'll get a watch so we can check what time it is. We have a radio. We can get a shovel, and we'll get a wrench just in case we need to repair vehicles. After getting ourselves kit up and heading towards the front line, we disconnected. And the server seemed to disappear as well. So we've had to join a different server and start it all again. So I've just skipped it to the point where we get to an arsenal and see what we can do. Can I guess it's this garden? keep the engine running just in case. We don't know what we're gonna come up against. Okay, so here's the arsenal. Oh, it's an old FIA base. Okay, so maybe there won't be AI here. Okay, great. Let's go. I don't think we can grab anything. We're gonna grab a rig. We're also gonna... I don't know why everything's bloody. It's covered in blood. That has seen... I'm used to getting brand new looking clothing, but not like this. It's covered in blood. Is this radio? It is. Okay, so we've just stolen ourselves a NATO radio. We'll get a watch because we didn't have one. And oh, we can get an M16. Okay, so we'll get the M16A2. We'll grab some tracer mags. This does cost supplies. I'm gonna get 10 magazines and a law.
Oh, this update comes
I'm gonna
out.
go and grab another law. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab another law and put it in the trunk of the Sarco. I feel like Levy is always gonna be a busy point, so maybe we go and have a look at Levy, see what we can expect there, expect to run into. Oh, that is a lot of dragon's teeth. That is a lot of dragon's teeth. All right, so someone's been busy here. I can't remember if there's mines. Oh, I thought that was a player. Oh, there's a lot. What? Someone's been busy building. Oh, I'm hearing gunshots. Right, engine off. Okay, I'm hearing GLs. I do not think FIA have access to GLs. Unless, you know, they've done what I've done and steal off the other teams. So we know there's a base just up around that corner. So just down this road, there is a base here. It's only got an arsenal and a command tent with a steady flow of supplies. We get back in the vehicle. We try and get some high ground and try and get a view on this base. I'm not sure if we could see if the blue team is actually capturing red team objectives. I don't know if we're actually privy to that info. Okay, we go down this ditch. What am I hearing? That's an LAV. That was an LAV.
It's a daily VLV.
What just happened? Was that a mine? Wait, I might be able to steal it. Do I have a wrench? Oh, I didn't pick up a wrench. Wait, what if there's a wrench in the vehicle? There isn't a wrench in the vehicle, but there's morphine and a bandage. Go! Oh,
damn!
I actually physically jumped. How am I still alive? Maybe this is the one.
What's up? Where you are?
Are any of you near Levy? Oh, I'm seeing tracers. Did I pick up the, No, I didn't. Oh, has this one got the ammo? Yes. Okay. Okay, so there is a lot of action at Levy.
What gun is that? M16 maybe? With the noob tube?
Okay, looks like an abandoned truck. No supplies in it though. There's someone right there. I wonder if we could try and steal like a heavy vehicle, like an LAV or a BTR off the other teams. Oh, it's NATO. Did he just try and GL me? We don't exactly have the best camo. Maybe this is where face camo will come in pretty handy. Oh, I can hear a Huey.
This would be enemy shots coming out of MOB. Shooting at below. Dead, come to that.
Where did I shoot him? Where did his body go? There he is. Oh! I literally just realized we're at their base. Here's a GLAK. I don't think we should stick around here.
Oh, damn.
Don't GL me. Don't GL me.
Where'd he go?
I need to reload. Oh!
Oh, damn.
Nope. There you go, I'm dead.
Welcome to my updated 2025 beginner guide for the Isle of Rima. If you're a new player or considering buying the game, I really hope this guide helps you. Here's how you can install Evrima. After buying the game on Steam, go to your Steam library and right click on the Isle. Go to Properties, Betas, and then select Evrima. Evrima will then start to install. The reason for doing this is because there are two versions of the game, Legacy version and Evrima. If you were wondering why your game didn't look like the ones you had seen online, this is why. Once you have opened the game, press play and you will see a list of the official servers. Official servers are run by the developers. I would suggest pressing the ping button here in order to find the server you will have the best ping on. If you go over here to the session filter, you can swap to the unofficial servers, which are hosted by players. These servers can have custom attributes like faster growing times, however some servers also have certain rules that you'll need to follow or else you will be banned from them. They may also require you to join their Discord server in order to play. Once you join a server, you will be presented with this screen. Here you can pick what dino you want to spawn as. Your options are a carnivore that eats meat, a herbivore that eats plants, and an omnivore that eats both. As a new player, you may be wondering what the most beginner-friendly dinos are. I would say play as whatever dino you feel like playing, however I would say if you find yourself struggling to survival learn the game, here are some I would recommend. For carnivores, I would say the most beginner-friendly dinosaur would be the Cerato, as it grows fast compared to something like the Dino. It's also very strong in combat. As a new player, you may also struggle to find food, however, it can eat rotten meat, so that sure helps. For herbivores, I would definitely recommend the Patchy, as it's very easy to play, it grows very fast, and it has a strong attack that can break other dinosaurs' bones. For omnivores, I would say both options are good, as they are both very fast and that makes it easy to escape and stay alive. However, when playing as the Beppy, you may want to be watching out for dinos. Spawning as an egg is also an option. If you see this red button go green, it means that there is currently an egg you can spawn in as. You will have players as your parents, and you will need to hold down E for them to feed you when you're hungry. Moving on to controls, this game's controls are fairly basic and straightforward. The movement keys are like any other game. WASD to walk, and space is to jump. Some dinos can't jump, so you have to test that out for yourself. Left click is your main attack, and right click is your special attack. Scrolling on your mouse wheel will zoom your camera in and out. Holding down shift will make your dinosaur sprint, and control will make it crouch. Sprinting will however use up your stamina bar, which is this footprint right here. In order to regain your stamina, you need to stop sprinting. You can also gain it back faster by pressing H to lie down. However, be careful where you do this, as it will get you killed if you cannot get up fast enough before another dinosaur attacks you. If you are laying down and then hold down H to sleep, this is how you log off the game safely. If you press the escape key and just press log off, your dino will remain in the server for 60 seconds, and that runs a high risk of you being killed while not on the game. The next important keybind is X. This will enable your night vision when it goes dark, and lets you see in the game's night cycle. Some dinosaurs can see further than others at nighttime, so be aware of that. For example, the Dilophosaurus is a great nighttime hunter. Also, if you can't figure out what keybind a specific control is on, you can press escape, then go to controls, and see your controls for every single action in the game right here. You can also change actions to another keybind if you don't like certain keybinds. The calls. Number 1 is your broadcast. It's a very loud roar that people can hear from far away, and if you hold down 1, it will do an even louder roar. If you press your 2 key, this is a friendly call. If you hold it down, that's how you invite the same species of dinosaur to your group. Number 3 is a threaten call. This can scare off other dinosaurs, or it can start a fight. Number 4 is your scared call. You can ask for help from your teammates. People also use it as a surrender call. However, I will warn you, 99% of players will completely ignore you if you try to use 4 to surrender, and will try to kill you, so do not rely on it. Pressing F is your regular talking roar. It's the sound you make when you type in chat by pressing enter. One thing to also note is that when you chat with dinos, you can only speak to the dinos that are the same species as you. There's no global chat. In order to see your dinosaur's information, press the tab key. Moving over to the left side of this menu, you can see your status report. This is where you see your dino's buffs and debuffs. Above it, you have the character and group tab, where you can press the group button to see the members currently in your group. Next to that, you have your dinosaur's profile data. Here you can see if your dino is male or female, its age, mating status, and if you have eggs gestated. I will explain more about this later in the video. Here you can see your weight, max speed, and bite force. Your weight is your health, and your bite force is your damage. You can use these stats to compare to other dinos to see how hard it would be to kill them in a fight. As you will grow, your stats will get stronger until you reach adult, and then your stats are maxed out. Next, we have your nest site, which you can use to track down your nest if you have created one and lost it. Next to the nest site, we have asset location. You can click this to copy it to your clipboard, and then come over to this website that I will link down in the description. You can then paste your location in the top left, where you will see where you currently are on the map, and see the direction you're going in using the compass in game, which I will show you how to use in just a second. At the bottom of the screen here, you can see your current growth rate as a percentage by hovering over the bar. This moving line down the bottom of your screen is your health bar. Green means you're on full HP, yellow means you're at half HP, and red means you're close to dying. Okay, let's talk about diets. Your diets are these 3 hexagons here. This S symbol is protein, the 2 lines are lipids, and the 3 dots are carbohydrates. Filling them up is straightforward. Here in the tab menu, you can see your dinosaur's preferred food. Next to it, you can see which diet it will fill when eaten. Diets will give you certain buffs like faster health regeneration, or bone break resistance. Diets are especially helpful in the early game, as you can get increased growth rate for your dinosaur, as you see here. So for example, if you're playing this dino here, the baby, and needed an S diet, you could go to the water biome and eat bullfrogs. Also, as a carnivore, if you find a body or kill another player, you can spam E on their body to rip out their organs. Then, once that's done, you can press G to take them out. Eating their heart will give you S diet, eating their lungs will give you the dots, and eating their intestines will give you the lion's diet. Additionally, you can also eat their stomach to gain the diet they ate last. Food and water. In order to get food for your diets, you need to know how to find it. So, here is how you find food and water. First, start by holding down Q. This will bring up your compass at the top of the screen. You can see this dip here, which means south, and this peak here, which means the north. If you hold it down for around 10 seconds, it will begin to show you all kinds of symbols representing food and danger. There are zones in the aisle where you can find food. First, I will explain the zones, and then all of the food and other symbols on the compass. Starting off with zones, this is called a sanctuary. You can only sniff these out if you're small enough. Here you will find these small red mushrooms that you can eat. They will fill up all 3 of your nutrients in your diet, which will give you the maximum growth speed, so they are very helpful if you find one when you spawn in. Be careful, as once you grow, there are bees which will attack any dino too big for the zone. Next we have the patrol zone. It's a smaller zone that spawns your dino's preferred food if you're a herbivore. As a carnivore, you can also smell these zones and go there to hunt the herbivores. So if you are playing a herbivore, be very wary of your surroundings. The last zone is the migration zone. It's a larger version of the patrol zone, containing the foods that would be on a herbivore's diet. You're likely to run into other dinosaurs here, herbivores and also carnivores again, so be careful when going to them. Okay, moving on to the other symbols for finding food and water. Here is the symbol for drinkable water. Then we have these symbols here which are showing the different states of the body that is not on your diet. If you find a rotten corpse, be aware that you cannot eat rotten food without getting sick, which will cause you to throw up your food, water, and ruin your diet. Unless you're playing as a Dino or a Cerato, then you can eat rotten food. The final way to find food is AI. Around the map there are certain chickens, goats, and hogs wandering around. If you listen carefully for their calls, you can find them, go to their location, and kill them for food. Okay, mutations. As you grow in the Isle, you unlock mutation points. You can tell when you have a mutation point available by this icon here in the bottom right of your screen. These will give you certain permanent buffs, like for example, when it rains you gain water, or when a dinosaur is low you deal extra damage to it. Choosing what mutations you want is completely up to you, as I would say it depends on your playstyle. Eggs and nesting. Moving on to nesting, if you want to raise a dino family consisting of other players, then you will love this feature. Once you're fully grown, you can look for a mate. If you find another player to raise babies with, you will need to stand close to them and hold down N in order to pair with them. Once paired, you can build your nest by pressing N and choose where to place it. Once done, you need to hold down Q to sniff out debris. You can then go over to them, pick them up, and bring them back until your nest is built. Once complete, the female can go to the nest and hold down E in order to lay the eggs. You then need to keep adding nest material in order to keep the eggs incubated. However, some dinosaur nests will need you to lay on the eggs to keep them warm. You can check what your nest needs by checking the nest tab. For the final part of this guide, we have combat. I will go over the most important mechanics you need to know in order to fight off other players, or kill them for food. All dinos will have different abilities, so you will have to test that out for yourself, but here are the basics you need to know for combat. Firstly, we have the left click ability, which will be your bite or scratch. Then your right click is your special ability. Next, we have the alt ability. Hold down your alt key and press left or right click to test out your dino. This ability can be used when you want to turn directions when hitting an opponent. Damage in the Isle is based on the part of the body you hit with your attacks. If you hit them in the tail, you won't do much damage. Body shots do medium damage, and hitting a player in the head is most optimal as it does way more damage. For example, a Stego's tail attack hitting a Carno in the head can one-shot them. So, use this knowledge to avoid hits to your head while trying to hit your opponent in theirs. Bone break. You can break bones by falling from a height or being hit by certain dinosaurs like the Patchy. If it manages to hit you in your legs, it will break them. If you get a bone break on your head, you will have very limited vision. If you do get into a fight where you end up getting a bone break, what you want to do is try to end the fight with them, and then leave into a bush or safe area. Lay down by pressing H, and you will heal your broken bones way faster. Certain attacks in this game cause bleed. Be careful to watch this bar while in a fight, because this bar essentially means how much blood you have left. If it becomes completely empty, your dinosaur will die from blood loss. So if it gets low, you might need to either take a risk to end the fight and kill your opponent, or you can run away. Once safe, you need to lay down until the blood symbol gets a plus in it like this icon here. Once you see the plus, you can then stand up again. Some dinosaurs also have a venom attack. Right now, the dinos that can inflict venom are Dilophosaurus and the Troodon. The venom attacks work in 3 stages. For the Dillo, the first 2 stages reduce the player's ability to see by surrounding them in fog, and causes the player that gets attacked to have hallucinations of copies of the Dillo. Then in stage 3, the Dillo can spawn clones that will deal damage to the player, and stops the person being attacked from knowing which one is the real Dillo. The Troodon's venom works by causing damage over time, and also it makes the player hit by the Troodon take more damage once they reach stage 2, and once they reach stage 3, they are taking even more damage per hit. That's the end of this guide. If you're stuck with something, or have a question, drop a comment down below, and I'll do my best to respond to everyone. Also, if you like dinosaur game content, please consider checking out my channel.
Hey, what's up, y'all? If y'all are watching this video, know this title is not clickbait. Surprisingly, this isn't a video about my ban. This is a video about Asmongold just getting banned on Twitch, which I think is absolutely psychotic once you hear the reason why. Pardon how shitty I look. Well, that's not, I don't think anybody's bothered by that. I always look shitty. This video can't be censored because my editor's asleep, so I'm going to try to watch what I say. If you want to know my pure, unfiltered thoughts, I will be live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. CST on Rumble, rumble.com/TechDown, and I guess I'll be streaming a lot extra for the next week while Asmongold's banned. We'll be playing Red Dead Redemption 2. So Asmongold just got banned for a week. And so you might be wondering, well, what did he do? Well, just to remind you what I got banned for a week for, I got banned for calling Denims a woman of the night. I got banned for a week for calling Frogan a little bit rotund. I got my YouTube channel banned for a week for calling Hassan a little bit flamboyant. And Asmongold has now, no joke, been banned for just saying he doesn't care about the opinions of illiterate third worlders. Now, I want to make it very clear. Do you think anybody would be banned if they said that they didn't care about the opinions of Americans? Asmongold in no way, shape, or form has broken the TOS in any way, shape, or form. There was no rules. There was no regulations broken. That's a perfectly fine thing to say. If you're not from this country and you can't even read or write, why the fuck would anybody care about your opinion on what's going on in America? The answer is you absolutely wouldn't, unless you're trying to virtue signal like any of these other streamers do, where they say, oh, well, I care about everybody's opinion. I'm sorry, you're uneducated. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And this is the reason why I think Twitch is entirely compromised. And this is the reason why I will not risk even streaming on Twitch. The reason why I'm even considering permanently deleting my Twitch channel, because I know Dan Gunnar Clancy is going to delete it or permanently ban me probably in the next couple months or so. Because why wouldn't they? This is the reason why I stream on Rumble. This is the reason why I encourage more people to stream on Rumble, or even Kick for that matter. I don't care.
I just start streaming on Rumble.
Twitch is entirely compromised, and you can't convince me otherwise. I want to remind you that I got banned for a week for calling Hassan gay, and then Meat Canyon can go make a video of Hassan and Asmongold making out viscerally, and he doesn't get banned. He doesn't get warned. He doesn't get mass reported. He doesn't get false flagged. He doesn't get harassed. None of that. While all these people, and I want to remind you, are calling Asmongold a pedophile, while they're calling Nuxtaku a pedophile. You've heard all this spiel before. And it just goes to show you how bullshit all this is. And in my opinion, Asmongold better get an appeal. He better get an apology. He better get some type of reparations. I mean, I sound like a black person. Sorry, I'm very tired. The filter goes off a little bit. He better get some type of apology for this blatant misuse of power. Don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely furious, but the reality is, much like all of you, I don't really have the energy to be angry anymore. I don't really have the energy to yell. I don't really have the energy to, get my blood pressure high. I'm used to this, and I think that's very telling, where I'm used to this type of bullshit, because it happens every fucking day. The good guys are getting abused every single day, and the bad guys are let free to walk. And I'm sorry, but mercy to the guilty is punishment to the innocent. And I can't, I can believe this is happening again, but when do we draw the line? When do we as people get tired of the behavior of Twitch to its creators, where we're all going to say, hey man, I'm fucking good. The platform's on a decline. You barely make any money off of it. The 50-50 joke.
I mean, it's kind of fucked up. Some of these people say some off-the-wall shit and they don't get no trouble.
0.01% of creators. The year-over-year numbers are steadily declining by 4% a quarter, allegedly. The TOS is unequally enforced.
Yeah.
Streamers like Hassan and co are allowed to go live, call everybody rapists, pedophiles, get Mizkif to parrot their words, have people like Mizkif pay off clippers and offer to pay content creators money to make, glazed pieces on them because their reputation's in the shitter. And these people are allowed to walk free. It makes no sense. Everybody is bought. Everything is artificial. Everything is fraudulent. And I think it's fucking pathetic. Nothing's real anymore. Nothing matters. The only thing that matters is what you can get people to say. And if you tell a lie loud enough, everyone will slowly start to believe it. In an age where information is at your fingertips, where you can grok anything, people refuse to. And they see the lies that are being led by all of these fraudulent, lying, misinformation spreading pieces of shit. I'll add cocksucking in there too. I don't think that'll get me demonetized. But we are essentially in the era of information, but it's slowly becoming the era of misinformation. Because while we could set the record straight, understand with a quick Google search, people were saying Asmongold was rightfully banned. No, he wasn't. There's nowhere in the TOS where it was shown that he was violating
So he gets banned for saying
He did
something
not break a
like
single
that,
rule.
but
what he said
people don't
was
get banned for saying calling
was
people rapists and
barely
shit.
inflammatory. I say 1,000 worse things every single fucking stream. That being said, I do get banned. Regardless. It's not a good look. It's really not. And while I want to say Asmongold should go to another platform, he really shouldn't. He should continue to multi-stream, because if he leaves Twitch, then that leaves way too many people up for grabs for other streamers who are pieces of shit, to be honest. And I think the older I get, the more I realize pieces of